Joining me now is Annie Cyrus. Let's talk about some of the issues going on. And that includes some articles she's writing about Christians for Israel. A lot of people being attacked for supporting Israel and a lot of hatred coming to the Jews from the side of the right. There's also other issues going on that we want to talk about related to, well, the Gaza and so much more. Iran, apparently Iran is getting ready. Here's a headline tonight. Iran stages missile drills, warning of stronger response in a new war with Israel. And there are talks that Israel and the U.S. may again strike Iran. Joining me now is Annie Cyrus of liveuptofreedom.com. Hi, Annie.
Hi, Brannon. Lots happening, huh?
Oh, my. Where do you want to start?
If it's okay, I would like to just a short invitation to all of your audience. There is a Substack, you just showed it. Mm-hmm. It's you won't miss it because it's a side-by-side picture of me and me, mm-hmm. the little me and then the grown-up me. Mm-hmm. It's an official invite. I invite everybody to. It is by far the shortest, yet hardest and most important piece I've ever written in my life, I believe. And I want to invite your audience to read it. I think it's important for them to read it. It's not about my story, or this is actually a letter that I wrote to myself, the little girl me, from my view today. But I feel like every Christian or non-Christian should read this. Very short, literally maybe 2 minutes read, Brannon. But I decided to take my frustration of a lack of understanding by Christians or non-Christians about what Jesus can do for people and turn it into this short Substack by writing to myself, the me who didn't know Jesus.
Wow, powerful.
Thank you.
Now, let's also talk about what's going on with Iran, because you're from Iran. And here's a headline. Iran stages missile drills, warns of stronger response in any new war with Israel. And of course, I guess the U.S. would be involved in this again, like we were last time, I'm sure. So what do you make of this?
Well, let's break it down quickly to few different fronts. Number one, what is happening in Gaza right now? A quick briefing. So Netanyahu, I'm on his side for the record, decided regardless of, because Hamas hasn't even signed the new agreement, the 60-day ceasefire. They haven't signed it. Israel hasn't signed it. So Netanyahu decided, you know what? I am approving the project. We're going to move forward with E1, which is where they're going to build, I think, like 30 or 35,000 housing to split the West Bank completely. And they can resettle the refugees in those housings, and they can be safe. So with that, now Hamas is up arms again. There's a protest going on in Gaza heavily. Reports are pouring in. With that, let's start right there. When Iran says they're ready for a harsher answer to Israel in any other war, we need to be very clear. They're not just talking about Israel going after Iran. Iran considers all of its proxies, including Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis. They're all considered Iran for them. So this response, or harsher response, isn't just about, is Israel going to attack Iran? It doesn't matter. With what is just happening right now in Gaza, tomorrow Iran could start sending missiles over. So I would take this threat pretty seriously. And I, meaning U.S., our administration, Brannon, needs to be on absolute standby with a decision made. Things are about to get really heated in Middle East, extremely heated. And I know we were kind of sort of busy celebrating the peace deal with Houthis, but let's stop that, because things are about to get very ugly. And now, especially with our military requesting a replication or duplication of a specific type of missiles made by Iran, used by Russia, Iran has got that sense of, oh, look, they're trying to duplicate my technology. So if I start bragging, if I start making threats, they're going to take it more serious. But we should still take it serious. I'm sorry if that was scattered all over the map.
So, well, just help me clarify. How is it about to break loose in the Middle East?
So as you know, the time is up. You know, the 30 to 40 days timeline I gave, I said Iran's going to stay quiet until the month of Muharram is over. They need to regroup. So they have regrouped already. Their sacred month of not allowed to war has passed. Now they're coming out literally every day, and they just signed a 20 years treaty with Russia, which includes weapon, chemicals. Iran also just signed another treaty with China. Actually, there's a fairly long, another Substack on my Substack that I said from Kabul to Moscow, the chess game America is losing. These are the details. It's so much is happening between Pakistan, Taliban, China, Russia, and Iran. With all of that, Iran is ready to get back into wiping Israel off the map. So either Israel fighting back Hamas, us getting a deal out of Houthis, Israel going after Hezbollah, or directly after Iran. Iran is standing by for the first green light to attack Israel. That's how it's going to. I don't know if they're going to go after Hamas first, Hezbollah first, directly Iran. I don't know. What I do know is Iran is very ready to make up for what happened during those 12 days. They finished their treaty with Russia. They finished their treaty with China. China is transferring a lot of chemicals that is going to be used to make weapons. Also, China just closed a deal on the 20th of August, that's yesterday, that now Pakistan and China are bringing officially Taliban's or Afghanistan's almost $10 trillion of untouched minerals into the operation of China in Islamabad. So our enemies are really regrouping in Middle East.
And so
we are negotiating with all five of them. Just
how do you think how do you think a war or skirmish begins here?
Again, it all depends on where we go, we, the U.S., with what is happening within next 24 hours in Gaza border. As I said, 12 hours ago, it has started getting really heated. There are protests going on. There are reports that Hamas has shot missiles over. Israelis are on the ground again. Israel has retaliated. 12 European countries have requested immediate access for journalists and press to step into Gaza because right now they're blocking all fake media out of Gaza, they being Israel. Mm-hmm. So it's getting heated already. Now, within next 24 hours, where U.S. stands, are we going to stand by Israel and let Netanyahu finish what he said, which today on a video, Netanyahu basically said the reaction by the Western countries toward Palestine is weak and shameless. And I'm going to have to agree with him. And also, Huckabee put a release out or put a video interview out saying, I strongly believe because of France, UK, and the remaining 7 countries of Europe who are going to actually acknowledge Palestine as a country in September, they pushed Netanyahu to have no choice but to start the E1 project. So you put all of that together, Brannon, within the next 24 hours, pending what Trump administration decide to do, the war could be the Israel versus Hamas, where Hezbollah is going to get involved and Iran's going to come in to protect both Hezbollah and Hamas.
Now, let's add this to it. Reuters is reporting today, Putin's demand to Ukraine, give up Donbass, no NATO, and no Western troops. You think this is ever going to happen?
No. I mean, this is where I would say Putin is clearly telling Ukraine, I'm not interested in a deal. Like, you make the term so impossible, unreachable, that it's clear that you're not looking for a resolution. You're just buying time.
Putin.
Again, as I mentioned, the treaty, the 20 years treaty Iran and Russia just closed isn't just in benefit of Iran. Russia is going to get a lot of weapons. Again, if you have time, I can pull up and give you the bullet point. Okay, so basically I have it right here. So the 20-year treaty of Moscow and Tehran is going to, on war and weapon, Iran's Shahed 131 and Shahed 136 drones, which are the ones that our military is now trying to replicate and make at least 16 of them for war, are gonna be sent to Russia. So Russia is going to get access to Shahid 131 and 136. Moscow will supply Tehran with advanced aircraft components, satellite technology, and air defense system. Russian engineers are upgrading Iran's Su-35 fighter jets, while also assisting Tehran with radar and missile defense integration. On nuclear and technology, Moscow remains a partner in Iran's nuclear program under the cover of civilian energy, which we know that's not true. However, this time they are going to focus on Bushehr nuclear plan until it becomes operational with Russian assistance. Beyond that, intelligence points to Russian advisors also going to be aiding Iran's ballistic missile program while China ships the raw material for fuel.
So there seems to be obviously this tight relationship between Russia, Iran, China, North Korea. And everywhere we turn,
add Pakistan and Taliban to it now. As of yesterday, Pakistan and Taliban are also involved with the treaties. They signed it yesterday.
And everywhere we turn, we see a conflict with America and Russia because we're the ones that have been funding their war along with NATO, using 10 CIA bases over there. So we're heavily involved fighting a proxy war with Russia. We're obviously helping Israel go after Iran. So we're really fighting a proxy war with Russia. We're fighting a proxy war with Iran, or, I don't know how, do you agree with those 2 points?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
That's actually part of my Substack. Yes.
Okay. And now we have North Korea reportedly has a secret missile base near China. They are upping more of their military. I think they're about to put out a aircraft carrier. He is talking more bold and brash lately in the last few weeks again. Kim Jong-un. We have China looking at whatever they might do with the Philippines or Taiwan. But all these groups are together. I'm starting to wonder again what we've wondered before. If these groups are working to create problems for President Trump in so many different regions of the world, that America basically is... We're in big trouble because we can't fight.
The chess game we're losing. That's the title of my Substack.
Is it really?
The chess game. It's from Kabul to Moscow. The chess game America is losing.
Here it is.
We are constantly negotiating. Listen, we just closed the deal with Pakistan to go get them their oil and minerals. Pakistan turned around and went and made a deal with China and Taliban. We are negotiating for a ceasefire for Russia and Ukraine while Russia just went and signed another 20-year treaty with Iran. We are being manipulated while we're trusting the 3D chess and the art of deal. They're all working together right in front of us, not even behind our back, right in front of us while President Trump is on the phone with the leader of this enemy and that enemy, and we're still negotiating with Iran. And Russia officially recognized Taliban as the government of Afghanistan. How much tighter does the enemy need to get for President Trump to hang up and say, we're done?
So you agree. So I didn't know you'd written this Substack. So you and I are agreeing between North Korea, China, Iran, and Russia, and America's involved with all of these groups in some way,
Yes.
We're don't really have any direct conflict with North Korea per se, but we certainly are involving conflict with China through BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, economic war. They're hacking on us. They're buying our farmland. They've got 100,000 Chinese troops at least here in the country. So we're already at a proxy war. I don't know what you call it, a proxy war. We're really already at a shadow war, if you will, of some kind with China. We're at a proxy war with Russia through Ukraine. We're in a proxy war with Iran through Israel. I mean, is there anything else I'm missing?
No, you're 100% on point. Yes. And that's why I said within the next 24 hours, depending on how we respond, this was exactly the point. Is America going to continue to try to settle the dust in Gaza and calm things down? Or is America at a point to realize this is it? We need to pick a side, and we need to stay with that side and forget about the peace prize and forget about the legacy and forget about all of that.
In other words,
this is getting
Israel needs to take care of Israel. Okay, we don't have any
Yes.
weapons to sell you. I'm sorry. I'm a Christian Zionist, but we don't have any weapons to sell you. We have cleaned out our stockpile, giving weapons and selling weapons or giving weapons to Ukraine. We've given plenty to Israel. So we need to stop. We need to get our own inventory back up. So Israel, you're on your own. And Ukraine, you're on your own. We're out. And we can start with those two right there. Would you agree with that? That doesn't mean we abandon Israel. But again, nowhere in the Bible does it say that we have to sacrifice America's national security for Israel. We just need to be their friend, help them with intelligence. We can make loans to them, but nothing says we have to give them weaponry, sell them weaponry. And if we don't have it to sell, it's not we're being unkind. We don't have it. We've given you all we can. We've given it to Ukraine. We've been stupid and foolish. And now when we would like to help Israel, we can't even sell them anything because we need to put it in our own inventory. So we got to definitely say to Israel, you got to have to handle it on your own, and say to Ukraine, we're done with you, because we got to be ready to deal with these other threats in these other arenas. Particularly now Trump's declaring war on their cartel in Mexico, which is by really doing that, you're declaring war on China.
and IRGC.
Yeah. And now we're going to head toward Venezuela with 4,000 troops. And we know in Venezuela you have Iran, China.
Oh, this morning,
Hezbollah.
the foreign minister of Iran this morning already, or nighttime last night, put out a press release saying that if U.S. invades an inch of Venezuela, we're going to protect them. They have already declared that.
And who said that?
The Iran's foreign minister.
And of course,
here's the thing.
Of course, you and I know there were flights going from Tehran for years to northern Venezuela, Caracas, for years.
They still go.
And you can't get on those planes. You could book months in advance. So that's government work there. You're not getting on those planes. Are they building a secret missile base underground?
But
what are they doing?
I addressed that, Brannon. On the other Substack, I put out that the plan B of Iran's nuclear weapon. That's where I bring you Venezuela, specifically saying that is where they will do most of the installation.
Most of their installation, Iran doing most of their installation of their missiles in Venezuela.
Yes.
Okay. So you can go back into my archives of my radio shows, probably to 2008, 9, 10, somewhere in there, where I'm talking about missiles in northern Venezuela, Caracas, and warning that could be our new Cuban Missile Crisis, but be Venezuela.
Yes.
And you're in agreement with that.
Yes, I released a Substack saying literally different words, but literally what you said, which is called Iran's nuclear plan B, a bomb without borders.
Okay,
I said they're going to break it into 6 different countries, Venezuela, top of the line, to build this bomb outside of Iran so we can go drop a bomb on it. And when they're ready.
So Iran is going to build their bomb in 6 different countries?
Yes.
And one of them is in Venezuela?
Absolutely. Venezuela is a huge part of this entire transaction. That's where I broke down the airplanes you're talking about.
Oh, wow. I haven't read your Substack. I didn't know that. So we are tracking on the same page.
Absolutely.
But here's the issue, Annie. This whole thing of 4,000 Marines on troops headed toward Venezuela is not about them being a narco state. I mean, it probably is in part. But if President Trump were willing to maybe tell the American people what I think is going on, he's doing that to threaten Venezuela and Iran, and he's not telling the American people what you and I have just told them tonight. It cannot be just about Maduro being a drug cartel. It has to be something bigger than that, right?
I would say yes, especially with today's announcement. Let me actually read right off of it. The U.S. Air Force has officially requested the creation of at least 16 clones of the Iranian Shahed 136 drone for military training and defense purposes. That is a little too precise, isn't it, Brannon? 16, and it's specifically Shahed 136, which I was just reading that they're sending to Russia on the new treaty. Why? And it is recorded that plenty of these Shahed 136 are being built in Venezuela for Iran. So yes, I'm with you on connecting all of these dots. Yes. And that's why Iran had to regroup. Now, here's where I say one thing you said, we need to tell Israel you're on your own. I agreed 100%. But here's another thing President Trump needs to do. Stay out of making deals, saving Supreme Leaders' lives, and shaking any hands, please. If we're going to tell Israel to do its own thing, deal with its own problem, we cannot be part of the problem where we keep their enemies alive constantly.
Mm-hmm.
We need to completely wash our hands off Middle East. Let it happen.
So in conclusion, because I know you're up against a time clock here tonight, in conclusion, you're warning the audience tonight, just as Michael Weiner is coming on to warn the audience about things are about to change in the banking industry. Everything's about to change in the dollar industry. You're here tonight to say things are about to change in the Middle East, but we've got a bigger problem here with Iran and them even in our backyard with Venezuela, and that things are much more tenuous toward military, kinetic conflict, World War III, whatever you want to call it, multiple theaters for the U.S. than the American people are even aware of tonight.
Exactly. I would say if your audience want the full proof and detail, not to be afraid of, but to be aware of, well, I'll start with my letter to myself, which is 2 minutes read, but read From Kabul to Moscow, the chess game America is losing. That will connect the players we just talked early on. And then if you have time, you can go read Iran's nuclear plan B. These two articles will give you the details of everything me and you just discussed, Brannon.
Wow. All right. As always, we love what you do. Live up to freedom.substack.com. Live up to freedom.substack.com. Thank you so much, Annie.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brannon. And stay safe.
You too, my friend. We'll be right back after this break.
We all gave up on mainstream media, and when I say mainstream, I'm talking like Fox News, Newsmax, and the big players on the block, right? If you're like me, you gave up on them a few years ago. So I have been interviewed by a lot of different alternative media outlets. And one in particular, I won't say who it is. It has 3 letters to its name. But I appeared for a couple of years every Wednesday on one of their shows, and then suddenly it got canceled. And it come to find out when I did a little investigating, it was because the host of the show mentioned Jesus too often. And if I told you who this was, you'd probably be shocked, because it's a very conservative alternative media outlet. But this is where Brannon is different. Like Pastor Wood said, he's very unique in the sense that he gets it in terms of what's going on geopolitically, what's going on nationally. He knows all of the issues like the back of his hand, but yet he sees from a biblical worldview how it's going to influence all of our lives, not just today, okay, but a year from now, 2 years from now. Much of what he's been talking about is just now playing out, right? And so you are really ahead of the curve when you're watching his show. I really appreciate him, and I hope you do too, and will show your support to him, because he does give voices a chance. He took a chance on me, okay? And like Dr. Wood, he has greatly expanded my reach.